Hello again. Thanks for joining us on the segment Healthy Lifestyle Africa on CRBC Radio 105.5. Don't forget this program is courtesy Asupo Diagnostic and Medical Center at Nerisliso Avenue, Calabar. Well, this week we'll be taking on a very, very important topic. We'll be looking at belly fat. A lot of people look at when you're fat, your stomach is very fat as healthy living. Some feel that you have so much money and stuff like that. We'll look at the implications of all of that this morning in the course of our presentation. And as usual, I'm being joined by a lifestyle expert, Mr. Sunday Clemens. Welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Well, my name is Erim Ega. Join us.
Some people see belly fat as a sign of wealth or good living and so desire to have it. But is belly fat actually necessary? Our crew interviewed some members of the public to get their opinions. Hear them.
It's not, because one, belly fat causes so many complications.
My name is Cortisol Sunday. Yeah, for me, I would say belly fat is not really good because it makes you look like an obese person. Yeah, and it disfigures the stature.
For me, it's not necessary. When you have belly fat, at times there are some activities you want to carry out. Because of the fatness, you won't be able to do it. And at the same time, there are some kind of clothes you want to wear. Because of the belly, you won't be able to wear them.
No, it's not necessary because as a woman, you're not supposed to grow so much fat.
It depends on the person. I mean, there are people who believe that being slim is a sign of suffering. I'm trying to help research and stuff like that. So it causes heart attacks.
Belly fat is not necessary because if you are wearing clothes, if you have tummy, your belly will come out. And it will not give you shape, fine shape.
I'm Ms. Mary Bobo by name, and from my own point of view, belly fat is not something I would advise anybody to have.
Necessary because it form the original and natural shape of somebody.
To me, I don't like fat tummy. So I don't know for any other person. The reason is that, first of all, it doesn't make you look fit like a man. You understand? And I think you easily get tired. That is my observation of people who have fat tummy. They hardly run to a far distance and they don't really look too fit.
According to a lifestyle expert, belly fat is not fashionable and so should not be encouraged. Let's hear more from him.
All right, we're looking at belly fat, and the expert here in the house, let me just, belly fat, a lot of people attribute it to maybe riches, and people that judge you by how fat you are, your belly is fat and stuff like that. It's all about money.
Socially, belly fat is good because when you have...
I like that word, socially.
Socially. Yeah, belly fat is good because if you see someone who has belly fat, the stomach area usually is protruded, and that's the abdominal area is protruded, and the person looks like a big man.
Very well.
Very big man.
Comedians normally describe them as a pregnant man.
It's a big man, someone with riches,
with so much money.
With so much money, But nowadays, many believe that it's no longer fashionable, to have. You can be rich and as well look normal. You
maintain
don't
your
have
structure.
To, yes, and maintain your. So it's not a disease. It's not as if it's a problem. But looking at the cosmetic value, from the cosmetic angle now, most people like to get rid of the belly fat, and it's not just for men, even the ladies as well. At some point, they realize that they are gathering so much abdominal fat, so they want to get rid of it. So it's not as if it's a bad thing, but if it becomes very excessive, then it could have health implications.
Okay, but let me quickly add, what could lead to this abdominal fat?
Okay, abdominal fat is mainly caused by the kind of lifestyle, the kind of choices that we make. There are many things that could be responsible, because if you look at abdominal fat, it's a kind of fat which is accumulated underneath the abdominal muscle in the abdominal cavity. And like what we take, especially the refined sugar that we consume, if you have a lifestyle of consuming so much of this refined sugar, sugar consists mainly of glucose and fructose. Now, if you consume so much of this fructose, we should bear in mind that fructose is mainly metabolized. You can have some of these cells in the body that metabolizes glucose or on their own. But when you have excessive fructose in your food, maybe in refined sugar, just like you have in refined sugar, the liver is mainly the organ that actually metabolizes this fructose. And the end product of fructose is fat. So when you have a kind of diet system that you consume a lot of this fructose, you have a tendency to push it to the liver, and the liver would convert that fructose to fat. So when you consume so much of fructose, you have so much of fat being produced by the liver. And when that happens, the only place the liver can get them stored is the abdominal cavity, so where the liver itself is situated. For example, you have the beer. Beer contains a lot of fructose, even more than glucose that is present. So that is why you usually see people who take excess alcohol or have a lifestyle of taking so much of this beer, especially beer. Beer is mainly fructose. So you have them after a while, after a long period of time, they start having protruded stomach. It has also been shown that if you have a lifestyle of consuming so much of carbohydrates compared to the ratio you consume protein, you have a tendency to have most of this carbohydrate being converted to fat, because especially if you have a kind of sedentary lifestyle that you don't consume so much of the fat that you have stored, then you have them stored just to...
As you don't expel the energy.
Yeah, you don't expel them. Okay. And another thing is if you have a lifestyle, if you don't do exercises, you don't do aerobic exercises, which is an avenue for you to burn some of this fat in the storage. But if you don't have that lifestyle of doing exercise in the morning, then you have a tendency to have them stored in the abdominal cavity, you know. So these are some of the causes which is influenced
the kind of lifestyle that leads
that
to
we live.
protruded stomach.
Or maybe you have a lifestyle, you have a kind of job routine that doesn't allow you to sleep, and when you don't sleep, you have high cortisol. Your body produces excessive cortisol in your system. So when you have high cortisol, this cortisol are a form of fat, and they are stored in the abdominal cavity when it comes to time. So these are some of the causes.
No, it's okay, very well. But are there some dangers inherent?
These fat cells in the abdominal cavity, when it comes to a time, they produce what we call chemical troublemakers. These chemical troublemakers, you can call them adipokines. These adipokines, they are kind of chemicals are produced by fatty cells, which are found in the adipose tissues. So these cells produce these adipokines, and they can be sent out into the bloodstream through the blood vessels, and they can be carried anywhere in the body, whereby they cause inflammation. So at some point the person can come down.
What kind of inflammations?
It causes some kind of attacks, you know, okay, on different kinds of organs in the body, because they travel through the bloodstream.
Okay, that's how they make the trouble.
Yeah,
they can travel to any part of the body and cause this trouble.
So we call them chemical troublemakers. So they mainly can attack the heart. They can get back to the liver. So they can cause inflammation of these organs. And studies have shown that people come down with cases like diabetes, hypertension, and all that if they have excess of these adipokines in their system.
Prevention is better than cure.
You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle Africa, a program that gives you information on how to prevent diseases.
Okay, very well. In case you've just joined us, today we are zeroing in on belly fat. I'd like to say that in case you want to maybe contribute to the program, you can just send a short message to 0803 6755958. just a short message. Don't call the number. You don't need to flash that number. You want to find out one or more things about belly fat. But I still have the lifestyle expert right here in the house. Let's find out, how can belly fat be avoided?
Okay, belly fat can be avoided. It takes a shorter time to build it than to reduce it. So, and what I've realized is that most people are very impatient when it comes to getting rid of belly fat. They want it disappeared, So after a while, you give them a kind of idea on what to do. But after a while, they're like, this is not physically going down, it's not going down. And they feel, I think
just wasting your time.
Yeah, I'm just wasting my time. I think this is going to,
or maybe it's natural.
It is coming. They say maybe it has come to stay, so it's not going anywhere. So, but it's not true. So, the first thing to bear in mind is that you have to be very patient, because it took you a while to build it. Probably you were not paying attention to it, or because you didn't know that your lifestyle had several implications. The first thing is to stop eating heavy meals at night. That's to start with. You stop eating heavy meals at night. Some people
heavy meals from 8 p.m. like you mentioned earlier.
So from 8 p.m. So when you want to take Gary, most people here take Gary in the night, so which is not advisable. And if you must take Gary in the night, you should take very little quantity.
As in Eba,
yes. You should take little quantity, because sometimes when you see some people's dinner, you see the kind of plates they have before them, to take dinner, like wow, as if they are going to war, as in the night. Why consume so much calories of carbohydrate or starch or fructose when you are not going to burn them, because you are going to sleep? You understand? So you don't need to eat so much of Gary when you have to take them at night. So that's very, very important. Then you should avoid refined sugar. We've discussed extensively on what the content of sugar is, and all these artificial sweeteners and all that. So it is very important that people should reduce the sugar, because sugar contains mainly fructose. And when you consume so much fructose, you convert them to fat. Your liver converts them to fat for you and stores them in the abdominal cavity. So you have to reduce your intake of sugar, or sugary drinks, or carbonated drinks. These have to be avoided. And then the other thing is that you should, like I said before, exercises is very good. You must have a lifestyle of exercise. We sometimes discuss about no exercise, no food. So if you have that behind your mind, that look, if I have to continue eating, I have to deliberately start doing exercise. If I know I would not be able to have an exercise lifestyle, then I should stop eating. So I think even the reason why we eat is because we need to do exercise. So it's very, very important. Then we should watch our food sizes that we consume. It's very important. And as well, we should sleep well, because if we don't sleep well, if you don't have a very good sleeping program, you don't sleep well, you have the tendency to secrete more cortisols. And this cortisol, you can call them stress hormones. They are naturally released. And when they are very high, you have high cravings for sugary things. Therefore, you indirectly start a cycle of taking sugary things as well. Another thing is, when you have a lifestyle of taking beer, you have to downtone it. You have to reduce it, After a while, this fat will start depleting. And you should go for more of vegetables. You should take more vegetables. Take more of protein, that will make you feel full. When you feel full, you don't necessarily have to eat in quantity. You just have the feeling that you are full. And with all this, I can assure you that the belly fat will start going, but at a very slow rate.
Okay, but at a very slow rate. Okay, there are situations where somebody says, okay, I hardly eat, or maybe I eat once in a day,
which is a bad way,
and stuff like that. But they are still like that. Can't we relate it to the gene kind of?
Aside burning belly fat, I've met people that say, look, I want to reduce my weight, and therefore they start starving themselves. It's a very unhealthy way to burn fat or to reduce your weight. It's very unhealthy. It doesn't stop your 3 square meals if you want to reduce your weight. It is the content of what you take within the 3 square meals that actually makes the difference. Not that you are not going to say, okay, I won't take breakfast, I won't take lunch, I will only be taking dinner. That is not a good way to...
Okay, can we just attempt maybe a normal diet for a day for somebody that wants to cut down the size?
Okay, like I said before, when you downtone on your carbohydrate, anything carbohydrate, you stay away from it.
Very well.
You stay away from it. You reduce it to the barest minimum. You take more protein.
Not necessarily meat.
it doesn't necessarily mean. Then you hit something that makes you full. Like for example, when you take beans, you realize that you will be taking a lot of water. And when you take a lot of water, it causes a kind of fluid in your stomach, and it causes prolonged digestion. So you don't have this need to hit again and hit again and hit again when you take things like
But
beans.
can't water itself contribute to the pot belly, the belly stuff we're talking about?
It doesn't. It's going to increase
rate of metabolism.
The frequency of your urination. That's what it does. It's not going to add to your weight. So these are things that people need to be very patient. They need to be disciplined. You hear someone who says, look, I want to reduce my belly fat. I want to, and you catch the person in the secret taking some carbonated drink. And the person say, look, it's not easy, my brother. It's not easy. Once you start having it's not easy, my brother, then you are not really ready for it.
All right, I just wish that a lot of people now know that belly fat, for sure, at all times could be as a result of maybe our lifestyle, what we take, what we consume on daily basis. So you want to check your belly fat. That might not necessarily translate to the fact that you are very, very rich. We've just been told that sometimes it could be unhealthy to have belly fat. I'd like to thank the expert in the house, Mr. Sonny Clement from Masupo, our sponsors, for coming on the show today.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to say a big thank you to the program producer, Stella FM. My name is Erim Ega, saying you need to eat healthily to reduce belly fat.